Welcome to the Momentum Builder Podcast, hosted by Don Goettlin, bringing you the top professionals, real stories, and proven success secrets that create unstoppable momentum. This is the show for housing professionals who want clarity, not clicks, where action, discipline, and consistency turn into real results. Top professionals, real momentum, real success. Let's get it started.
Well, welcome to the Momentum Builder Podcast, where we have conversations with leaders and ways to build momentum and grow your business. But today's guest is very unique in a good way. I mean, this is something we really needed to talk about in our industry. And you see her smiling already because she's excited about it. It's someone whose story demonstrates some of life's greatest breakthroughs that don't always happen when everything goes according to plan. And we all know this because the mortgage industry, the real estate industry is very dynamic. And they happen when life forces us to see things differently. And Sarah is an educator, mindfulness coach, trauma-informed yoga practitioner, and founder of Rise with Grace and Gratitude. And yes, I'm reading it because I want to make sure I say it right. Through faith, mindfulness, gratitude, and an incredible shift in perspective, she's helping people transform life's hardest moments into lives filled with greater purpose. All right, Sarah, welcome to the Momentum Builder Podcast.
Don, I'm so excited for this conversation. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's exciting. We did a little pre-warm up, and I'm as excited about this as our listeners and YouTube followers are, because this is something we all need to know. And you've been practicing it and put it into play, and I can't wait to share your story. You've spent years helping people grow, find peace through faith, gratitude, mindfulness. And here at Momentum Builder, a lot of time we talk about production, leadership, growth, and success. But I actually think it starts exactly at the same place. Instead of us, it's your mindset and how you handle challenges in our industry, because we're going to have them. You don't always have control of that. And we'll talk more about that. So let's explore a little bit more of inner life effects in the area of a professional life, of course. And I know you've had some challenges, personally too, that has also helped you navigate your professional life. So let's start with a little background about Sarah and let our listeners know you better, not just what you're going to share with us, but also a little bit more about Sarah and your story a little bit. The story is the best part.
Yes, always my favorite. Thank you so much for the kind words and introduction. So I am the daughter of Muslim Egyptian immigrants. So I grew up in a Jackson, New Jersey, predominantly white town, which I believe shaped me very beautifully in so many ways. And so my most early challenges in life were the fact that I had an older brother who struggled with addiction and mental health. And so I remember from the age of 10, I always imagined myself on stage speaking to people about how there's purpose to their pain. Don, you're not going to believe this, but as a 10-year-old, I used to hide under the bed when people came because that's how shy I was. And so it didn't make sense at that point in life. How was I on stage speaking to people if I'm deathly afraid of that initial interaction? And so I wholeheartedly believe that our soul knows what we're destined for. And I put in the work. And so as a college student, I wanted to go out, change the world, and I wanted to go into work for the UN. And then there was a shift. I realized, no, let me go into teaching. And after teaching for about 5 years, my manager, who was someone I worked with when I was in banking, while I was in college, called me and said, "Hey, Sarah, they have this program for LOs with no experience. I think you're going to do amazing." And so I said yes. I was actually just about to go on maternity leave. So I went into mortgage 6 months after becoming a new mom, which was wild. Yeah.
You had an extra challenge to a new career.
Yeah. And my husband is so supportive. And I think that was the crucial part here.
Hmm.
in all of my transformations and the way I've evolved in our marriage. We just celebrated 15 years of marriage actually last week.
Congrats. Very
Yeah,
cool.
thank you. Thank you. But yep, so that's a little bit of the background. And then there's a little more, but I'll wait for us to continue our conversation and
Yeah, I
dive
mean,
deeper.
I like that you've dedicated so much time and effort into your learnings and your experiences in life.
Mm.
It's not just like I read a book, it really changed my life. It's stuff that you've actually gone through. Um, most people know you today as someone who teaches grace, gratitude, mindfulness, but was there a certain moment in your life that kind of really you need those lessons more than ever? That
Um,
now the reason why you're kinda, like, really reaching out and
yeah.
sharing because that's the effort.
So yeah. So, there was always that self-doubt, right? The imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to go out and teach people about this? Even though this was my baseline, Dawn, like even as a child, I was extremely reflective. I would spend hours in my room reading, reflecting, pondering on life's meaning and purpose. And my biggest challenge was, I was still in the mortgage industry. Actually, both my kids are IVF babies. I struggled to conceive, me and my husband. And we end up finding out when I was 11 weeks pregnant that Adam would be most likely born with Down syndrome and a heart defect. And there was one time my manager called me to ask me something, and I just started hysterical crying. And he's known me for like over a decade. So he's like, whoa, what's going on? So I start telling him I ended up going on a mental health leave, which is something, we put a lot of shame on. And that's why I'm here because there's so many people struggling that don't talk about it. Someone may be smiling, but you have no idea what demons they're battling within. And so I went out on my mental health leave in August of 2022. Adam was born. I kept praying that God, like, heal him. I don't want him to be born with Down syndrome. I'm just not ready for that. I don't see myself
That's
ever
fair.
mothering a child with a disability. There was like this aversion that no, it's not for me, it's for other people. And so when he was born, I did struggle. I had a few anxiety attacks in the hospital, but I had this moment, Dawn. So he was in the NICU for 6 weeks prior to having open heart surgery. He was transferred to a
As a
different
baby.
hospital.
Wow.
Yes, 6 weeks. And so we weren't allowed to stay with him in the NICU. We still had solid COVID regulations at the time in 2022. And I remember one day I wake up, I'm getting ready, and then I'm having my coffee, and I tell my husband, like, Omar, I'm not upset that Adam has Down syndrome. I think I'm actually just grieving the life I thought I was meant to have. And now I need to let go of that old Sarah so that the new Sarah can rise. And because I had a solid foundation of mindfulness, I was always someone looking to educate myself and learn. I get in the car on my way to visit Adam and spend some time in the NICU. And I'm like, I'm going to put some kind of podcast and listen to something about patience because I really knew I needed patience from like a faith perspective because I was really struggling. Like I couldn't even look myself in the mirror. I just couldn't see that sadness in my eyes. And I put on this podcast and they're talking about, it's more of a religious podcast. And they're talking about when Mary was giving birth to Jesus. And there's a verse in the Quran where she says, I wish I had died before this moment. And I was like, wait, if Mary, the purest of pure, said these words, then it's okay for Sarah to feel sad and depressed.
Right?
And so that shift, like I still remember my whole body, my like on a cellular level, shifting from being a victim to warrior. And from that day on,
Mhm.
everything changed. Everything changed. One
Ah,
thought, just words that completely changed my perspective of was what I was going through. It went from being broken to, wow, God's honoring me through giving me a child with a disability and trusting me with him. And
wow,
from
what a great story, Sarah, and thank you for being so honest and transparent. I think it's refreshing because we all wanna be, like you said, warriors and everything's good and I could power through anything, and our industry kinda pushes that kinda ego and, that you just power through it, but I'm sorry, I've been in this a long time. I've managed hundreds of loan officers. this industry will chew you up and spit you out unless you get mindfulness and mindset help on a regular basis to figure out how to cope with that. And that's why I like today. So stay tuned, because I love that Sarah's going to kind of share some ideas that will help you and help me figure out how to cope with these challenges and how to change that mindset from a negative into a positive. And I know it's cliche, but Sarah walks the walk, and you can see that she's very confident despite some hardships she's had in the past and challenges in the past. And now she's like, you know what? I've accepted it and changed that mindset to where this is going to be my strength. Am I right, Sarah? That you've kind of turned
Yes.
it from a negative into, this is my strength, this is my purpose, this is my power. And now you're sharing that with so many, and thankful for that, because a lot of people don't take the time, the effort to help others. And that's what Momentum is really about. It's not just about production. You'll see in our community as we build it out, it's holistic. It's everything. It is, yes, how you're going to be more successful professionally, but also how to be more successful personally, because I know you agree that you've dealt with it. I've dealt with it. When your finances, your home life, your health isn't in order, it's really
Mhm.
hard to be successful. You're in a
Yeah.
bad place, and
Yeah.
it shows. People sense it, and your energy levels, is adapted. So how would you say, when you have ups and downs, I mean, you already shared that you had to change your mindset from, this is something I don't want. And what's nice is you're very transparent about it. A lot of people go, ooh, I don't want a Down syndrome baby. But you're like, I didn't.
I didn't.
Like,
Yeah. And
you did it wasn't in my story, my future,
no.
which is
Yep.
nice. It wasn't like, oh, I have anything against it. It's just, this is not what I saw in my future. And you're like, okay, but this is my future. So what am I going to do about it? So how did you change that mindset? I know you said you changed it, but it had to
Yeah.
be, there had to have been steps.
So obviously, yes, that moment was beautiful, transformative, but it's not going to end there, right? We're human. My
Right.
mind's still going
Thank
to
you.
play. Yeah. Or my mind's going to play games.
This is where
And
I wanted to
so,
go.
yeah. And so, luckily, I had started my yoga certification, and I paused because of all the IVF and all of that. Um, and so I had a solid foundation with that, and I continued. And so I'm an educator, so I love teaching people how to do things, not just, hey, this is a nice story. I hope you're inspired. And
Boom.
so Adam came home on December 29th. On January 1st, I was on my Peloton bike. I knew that to be in the right headspace, I needed to be physically well, right? And so I was
100%.
committed to getting fit. I
I'm
registered
looking at
for,
my Peloton right now, so I'm on your page.
yeah, I love Peloton. Oh my God, their instructors are life-changing.
Yeah.
I actually signed up for a pretty pricey LinkedIn masterclass that was run by one of my good friends, Hela Taha, who has a very successful podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, they call her the LinkedIn princess, actually. And so I
Good
reached out
name.
to her. Yeah. Look her up. She's amazing.
Okay.
Get some pointers. And so I told her, hey, this is a hefty price tag, but I knew I needed it, right? When I learned from Todd Duncan, Sales Master, you got to invest in yourself. And in that moment, I knew I had to invest in myself. And so I went ahead, I registered for the course, and I started literally healing on LinkedIn. I started sharing these personal thoughts and reflections as content on LinkedIn. I had this beautiful community through that masterclass that I joined.
That's a good word.
Yeah, the community is
Yeah.
everything. And
We'll
when I
talk more
tell,
about that. Go ahead. I didn't
yeah,
mean to interrupt you, but
no,
that's a
you're
great
fine.
word.
When I tell you, she told me, I may not give you what you want, but I'm going to give you a community. And Dawn, I wholeheartedly believe when our intentions are in the right place and we're committed to changing and growing, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, is going to send you what you want. So that community sent me the fitness coaches, financial coaches, and I was connecting with a lot of solid women that, had meetings like this. I did a podcast with one of the Down syndrome moms in the community. And so December of 2022 was my darkest point in my life. December 2023, I was in my best shape. I founded my LLC, Rides with Grace and Gratitude. and I was helping women just in 1 year. So our lives can absolutely change in just 1 year. We just got to make that shift in our mind.
It's a mind shift, and thank you. I love your story, Sarah, because I've seen ups and downs in our industry so much. But a big part that I try to promote, and I appreciate all of you on this call or checking out or sharing with others, is because it is community. It really helps to be part of something bigger than you, and getting ideas and support and strategies and finding out other people are going through the same thing you're going through. Community is huge, and why we're creating the Momentum Builder community, why you've created your own community. It is you creating your own community and being part of other communities helped heal you and helped make you stronger. And that's what it's really about. And what I love, though, is a key point. I hope you all paid attention when Sarah mentioned that it isn't just change your mindset. That's holier than thou. Ooh, Sarah was honest that she's had to take the steps. You have to take steps. And her steps was, I'm going to get back in shape. I've surrounded myself by the right people. That's changed my career, and I'll go a little deeper in that. But you're going to take care of yourself. You're going to have financial coaches. You're going to hang out with the right women. You're going to hang out with powerful people that are going to help rise your level of experience and personal strength and all that. I love that you've done that, because it changed my life. The same person that brought us together, Todd Duncan, that has been his mission. He's transformed more loan officers, but not just loan, but people, over 30 years. And now he's a big part of Momentum Builder. He's one of our top speakers. In fact, we even used his name last year, Sarah, as you saw, Sales Mastery, because we wanted to carry on his legacy, because he's changed my life. We've changed it back this year, back to Momentum Builder Live, because you're going to find that Momentum Builder is becoming more than just an event. We're creating a whole ecosystem for our industry, for people and all that. So we went back to just so there's no confusion in the branding, just in case everybody's going, what happened to Sales Mastery?
Apologize about that. I don't want to confuse anybody.
Yeah. No. Sales Mastery changed my life in 1998, a long time ago, because I almost quit the business. And hear me on this. Wow. This is why you want to be part of a community, because ups and downs are there. And what you feel, and here's the challenge we have in our industry, is a lot of us, almost none of us, chose to be a loan officer. It just happened. Like you didn't plan on it. You're going to be an educator. You're going to work for the UN. Oh, this opportunity showed, just like the rest of us. I didn't plan. I didn't go to college to get my finance degree to be a loan officer. It just happened. But we are willing to work hard, but sometimes that's not the answer. And I was trading hours for dollars and running out of hours. Yeah. Thankfully, I was introduced to Todd and that community, not just Todd, but also the coaches, like you said, the people that are taking care of themselves, the people that are coaching, all the tech that I was supposed to be using, all that helped change my career, and anybody else who's worked with me for the last almost 40 years. So I love that you've dove into community and took action, and that's really key. Yeah. Do you agree?
Probably, that was yeah. Like like you said, it was absolutely the most important step that I took was joining that masterclass. It was very expensive. I was on maternity leave. I didn't know what financial things may pop up, especially as a new mom. But I was like, I had to do it for me. But we kind of I wanted to add a few things. You said, what are other steps that I took? And I'm someone who's all about the inner work, and so this was a really good book for me. No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz, to people that are looking to heal parts of them that, sometimes you react to something and you're like, why did I do that? And it's a part of us from childhood that needs healing. And I believe that most adults are walking around with inner child wounds that they need to work through. But specific steps were, I have core values, Dawn, and I think this is something that's so crucial for people to reach a level of inner stillness and peace. And it's to have core values so that when those thoughts come up that feel icky and you're like, wait, I don't like I need to push this out. We need to set our core values. So my core values, for example, are faith, love, and honesty. So any thought, any choice that I have to make that's not aligned with my values, I'm going to say no to. So imagine how much energy and mental bandwidth you're saving and protecting by already automatically knowing, all right, this is not for me. And I would do that while I was doing the work. Like a thought would come up about like Adam, my experience, and I would say, no, Sarah, not today. You're leveling up, and so it's important to do that inner work and journal and know what
Mhm.
your moral compass is. What do you really want
Well,
in
it
the long
obviously helps you make decisions that much easier and,
so much
and
easier.
allows you to take action. One of our
Yeah.
challenges in our industry or in life is thinking about what you want, planning for what you want, but really it's about the actions you take. And you've figured out how to take the right actions and how to filter those actions by your values. And I think all of us need to know where my values stand and who I'm meeting, who I'm going to align with,
Yeah.
who I'm going to be friends with, who I'm spending time with.
Mhm.
Is so I'd love to ask, uh, you wrote, one of my biggest breakthroughs wasn't changing my circumstance, it was changing my perspective.
Mhm.
So, how can someone who's going through some challenges right now, and believe me, our industry has been challenged for 4 years now. I understand it. It's not horrible, but it's been in a slight drought for almost 4 years. And usually we have 2 year drought. We're going on 4 years. How would you tell someone to help them change their perspective so they realize that this challenge actually is an opportunity because so many are waiting for the market to get better. And I don't see it changing. It is what it is. Those who
Mhm.
change their mindset to right side actually are using this as an advantage over those who won't do what they need to do. And some are having their best years ever right now.
Yeah, yeah, which is incredible because someone may look at my experience and feel sad for me. I'm like, "God, you went there," and I look at it as, "Wow, finally, I'm the woman that I've dreamed of becoming." Um, you know, I think being reflective is huge. Uh, Journaling, working on your inner self. Hey, maybe time is slow because there's some work you got to do on your inner self that you never had time to do because you were so busy. Maybe your health is not in a good place. So there's always, positive reasons for it. But what if you're supposed to be aligned with someone else? Maybe you're working with business partners that are not aligned with you and your
Hmm.
values. Maybe that is the reason. So I think just looking inward and changing that perspective of like, we've all been there. Oh my God, like business is terrible. I suck at this. I'm going to quit. Or, hey, maybe I need to look outside the box and be a game changer. And I think having that solid morning gratitude where we're most aligned with our higher self, so much abundance in those early hours of the day where you're gratitude journaling, you may be sitting in quietude or prayer, whatever is important to you. And I know that the answers come to us. They truly flow to us when we're aligned.
I love that. And I love that you talk about gratitude being like a core for you because when you go back and forth through challenges, and believe me, I've had my own throughout the industry, the gratitude does help. Like, okay, life isn't so bad. Here's what
Mhm.
I should be thankful for. And my wife and I do it all the time because,
Yeah.
at times there's been up, not in our relationship so much, just in life, in business, and we had moves and all that didn't go as planned. But we're like,
Absolutely.
overall, our life is pretty special. We have each other, we have our health. So gratitude, I love is a big deal. I hear a lot of most professionals that really elevate their game journal to really
Yeah.
be reflective on where they're going and what they've learned or what their gratitude. I have a gratitude journal that you start with each day, and it really
Yeah.
helps your perspective right from the get go. Hey, I got a lot to be thankful for. So I don't want to be just holier than like, okay, this is Zen moment, but this is important. But also you've channeled this to where it's helped you professionally, correct?
Absolutely. And, this isn't just Sarah talking or Don talking. There's research. I mean, there are like an insane amount of research, Harvard neuroscientists about the impact of gratitude journaling. I think Harvard did a 21-day study on 75-year-old men. This was years ago, who were very pessimistic. And they saw that after just 21 days of practicing gratitude journaling or just simply, stating what you're grateful for, they saw a change in their minds and in the way they perceived life. And so it's real stuff. It changes your epigenetics, and that's something that's just so powerful. And so
Uh,
your
so I'm gonna
thoughts,
walk around with gratitude
yeah,
journals and just start
yeah.
handing it to anybody that's being pissy. Hey, here you go. Here you go. Can
Yeah,
you imagine? I'm like, what's
seriously. I
this?
mean,
You should be more grateful. You're a little bit grumpy.
yeah, we have so much. We have so much. And, your energy and your vibe are going to attract either more negative energy or abundance. So it's like we get to choose. We
All
truly
right,
get
two
to choose.
questions for you then. What first one is how you suggest someone handle pressure, whether it's home life, whether it's work, whether it's kids, whether it's finance. It's just how they can handle pressure a little bit. And we'll start with that. What would you suggest to have? Because we all have a lot of pressure. Oh, and the other one
Yeah.
was a lot of us lose sleep at night. Is there a way to help kind of ease our mind a little bit so we can turn off the brain a little bit? I have that, just so
I
you know.
went through that when I was in mortgage. Oh my God, that anxiety.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So it's knowing your body, right? Like I remember, especially while I was in the mortgage industry, like I would get a call from a client who was mad, right? And I would have to come back to my breath. And I would take, my palms. This is like a yoga practice too, and just rub the palms on your legs to ground yourself. And I would
Okay.
sometimes tell myself, Sarah, you're safe. You're whole. We've all had those calls that literally you feel like you're going to just pass out from the anxiety. Learning when to pause and walk away, getting up and going for a walk. There's studies on the impact of just going outside and being in nature. I think we're spending so much time on the computers and phones, um, not using your phone an hour before bed. And I know it's hard, but
Yeah.
at least 20 to 30 minutes when you first wake up, just have your morning coffee in solitude to set up your day for success. But, I go back to this all the time. You have to know your body. If you're feeling something weird in your body, your heart center, you need to step away. Whether it's, if you have a religious practice, maybe go to that. Or if you have a yoga practice or a meditation practice, there needs to be type of practice that is comfortable for you that you can go back to and fall back on to ground your body and your mind. There's a lot of breath work that we can do. So you can do like box breathing. You can inhale from one nostril, exhale from the other. That's a way to ground yourself. That's quite powerful. Or take exhale, inhale 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then exhale. So these are practical ways where it's like you could just do it while you're
I'm telling
sitting.
you that helps me. I use
Yeah,
those
yeah,
methods at
life
night
changing.
when I find myself being over anxiety, and it's not a bad thing. I'm excited about what we're doing with Momentum Builder, and I can't wait. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I want to get this and handle this and talk to this person, and I'm excited about it. So it's not just stress anxiety. It's just there's so much I want to accomplish with it. And I do have trouble at times. So I'll wake up, I call it my brain's broken, and I just start thinking and thinking
Well,
and
yeah,
thinking. But so I'm starting to learn, to do the box breathing, to relax, say I'm in a safe place. There's not much I can do right now. Okay, I thought through the 5 things that I want to do tomorrow. We'll make sure we take care of those in the morning. But the other thing that's helped me is before I go to bed is I set up my next day. Here's what
yes, yeah,
here's what I have to get accomplished. Like if I accomplish these 3 things, and it can't be 20, be careful. You got 20 on your list, meaning these are things you need to get done. But if you accomplish 3 to 5 each day, like if I accomplish these 3 things or these 5 things today, it will be a positive day. And you crush those first, and it's amazing how much energy you get because you did that. But if I don't set up my day, I'm already thinking about what I need to do. But if I know I wrote it all down, I prioritize things, it allows me to sleep a lot better. Do you think that's a good practice?
I love that. And I like to write things. I'm a pen and paper kind of girl. My husband makes fun of me because he's like, why don't you just use your phone? But yeah, yeah. I can feel my body releasing the stress when I write it down.
I do
Yeah,
too. It grounds me a
yeah,
little bit more.
yeah,
I do have
yeah.
it on a spreadsheet. I have all kinds of AI stuff, but I still like pen and paper. And I also like crossing stuff off that I
Same.
accomplished. It
Yeah,
makes me feel good. I'm like, look at that. I got that done. And it makes me
yeah.
want to cross off the next thing because it's in
It's
my face.
powerful. Yeah. One thing I'd want to add too is paying attention to who you're giving your energy to. We wake up every day with a fixed amount of bandwidth for that day. And but if you're checking Instagram and Facebook, you've already wasted all your bandwidth for the day. You know what I mean? Reading everything.
That's
So
funny. You're right.
I was listening to a podcast about, how Steve Jobs was and how Elon Musk is with how they focus and they don't let any noise in. And that noise is causing more stress for you that you don't need. So
All right.
yeah.
I have two
Yeah.
things in closing because this is great stuff. I'm so glad you're on. And I know we're going to have continued conversation on this. You're going to be a
Yeah.
great resource for our community.
I
I
appreciate
know you'll be a great giver for our community because that's what we need. It's a different perspective than just go, 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 work, 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 strategy, strategy, strategy. It's also mindset's super key. So, and imagine someone listening today, one of you out there, they're overwhelmed, their marriage is struggling, their business is struggling, they don't feel like themselves anymore. What's the first step you'd encourage them to take today?
So
I know
this
it's a
is
big question, loaded
yeah.
question, but
It's loaded, but I always begin by saying we can't heal what we don't feel. So you got to sit with it. You got to
I
write
like that.
down. Yeah, yeah. People are walking around with all this pain and they're ignoring it and they're keeping themselves busy. And we need to go to the core of what is causing it. Is it childhood trauma? Is it more than that? And so I say, feel it, understand it, the journaling, figuring out, there's something we call in yoga, the kleshas or the veils that blind us from the truth of life. And so first one is ignorance, ego, attachment, aversions, and fear, which is fear of death.
Oh,
And I can send that to you if you want to add it in show notes. But those are typically the 5 veils that keep us from moving forward in life. And a lot of times our issues, for example, me, I have the aversion that I don't want to be a Down syndrome mama. I just want a neurotypical child. And once I comprehended that's what I was pushing away, I was able to move forward. And so I would say that's where you start. You have to
that's a
understand
good.
where the problem is stemming from. Yeah.
I love that. And Jonathan with Turnkey Podcast that helps me with this. Mental note, that is a great clip to share. Because I want to share that because it's great stuff, a way to, reflect and go back on, here's the challenges we have and stuff. All right. I wrote something down in closing because I thought it was important because we were introduced through Todd Duncan, who you
Yeah.
met through Sales Mastery, that had a quote like, change your life by just being a great person like you. That's why you're reaching out, I believe, is to help others,
Yes.
feel that they're special. And you wrote something to Todd that stayed with me. You thanked him for believing in you before you fully believed in yourself. And I think today you become the person for other people, and you become the person that you wanted to be
Mhm.
because somebody believed in you. So
You're
thank you
making me
for
tear up.
helping.
I
I
wasn't
think
planning on
it's
crying.
I think it's very special that you recognize that someone believed in you and before you believed in yourself. So all of you out there, make sure you let people know that you believe in them and that you support them and you can help them change their lives. And that's what your mission is. That's what our mission is at Momentum Builder. And I thank you for, being so transparent and open and helping our community just be stronger mentally so that we
Yeah.
can become the
Thank you.
people that we want to be. Because that's really what our goals are. It's not just finances or anything else. It's really to become the person we see ourselves being. So
Thank you. And I think the true change happens when we're vulnerable because we invite others to be vulnerable. And that's a
that's why
beautiful
you
way.
started a
Beginning of
podcast, right?
I
That's why you have your
did,
podcast.
believe it or
Oh, how
not.
can they find out more? How can they find
Okay.
out more and
So
follow you?
I'm excited because this has inspired me to revive my podcast. It was a struggle with Adam and his health. And so I'm ready now. I'm in a good mental state. My heart center is ready to give. So they can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there. I create content on there. Sarah Abdolrazek. My public account or handle is Soulful Sewers. My
I
friends
love
call me
it.
all one word on Instagram. And I'll be revamping. I do have a good amount of episodes now. Rise with Grace and Gratitude. That's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Nice.
So.
And you'll see Sarah's, if you know you're in the right place when you see Sarah's great pick for her podcast. I love your pick. It's that right there.
New one. I need new ones.
No, I like it. I like it. It's very powerful. It's very fun.
Thank
It's just
you.
very real. And I love you being so
Thank
real
you.
and stuff. Thank you for
Thank
being on our show. Thank you for reaching out, because you reached out because you want to tell your story to more people and help more, especially professionals. We are challenged. Our industry is probably one of the most challenging. It's great when it's great, but it's also tough when it's tough. So
Yeah.
together, Sarah, we're going to make the industry more successful and
excited.
happier.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
cool.
And
Thank you for
whole.
being
We are
on.
whole. Yes. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, Sarah. Make sure you follow Sarah. Make sure that you stay in touch with our community, with Momentum Builder. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel, which has our podcast. Plus, you can go to iTunes, Spotify, Audible. I don't know. All those, we're everywhere, just so you can always find us and find the resource you need to be more successful personally and professionally. Thank you for being part of the Momentum Builder podcast. Thank you, Sarah. What a great
Thank
show.
you so much for having me. This was really beautiful. It means a lot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you all for joining us, and share this message, please. Thanks again. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Momentum Builder podcast. For resources and next steps, check the show notes. If today's conversation brought you value, please rate and review the show. It helps more professionals like you to find it. Because this isn't about motivation for motivation's sake. It's about creating real momentum. We'll see you next time.